The land of Natlan, a place full of friendly saurians, colorful graffitis, floaty sealy-like creatures like this one here, tasty tacos, and some chocolates? After many long years, we finally get to see some chocolates in this game. Well, because Natlan is partially inspired by Mayan culture, who were the first to make chocolates and chewing gums, it makes sense it was finally introduced in this region. However, there are a lot more from which Natlan was inspired as a region. Examples are from the Incans, Aztecs, Hawaiians, Mapuche, Songhai Empire, Yoruba, Swahili, kingdoms from Africa such as the Swazi, Zulu, and Xhosa, as well as from the Creole Louisiana. There are a lot of cultures involved here, which makes me more excited for the coming subregions soon to be released in Natlan. Now, going to the point of this video, how about let's dive into each tribe of Natlan and how they were all founded, together with how they all fit into the timeline. Now, I got this from numerous craftable weapons and NPC dialogues, but as Natlan gets larger in the future, it will definitely add more to what we know now. To begin our deep dive for the 6 tribes of Natlan, we are currently introduced to 3, which are the Nanatskayan, the Mesli, and the Hoytslan. Now, I know it's hard to memorize these names, that's why I came up with some tips to remember them. I first think of the word canyon whenever I see Nanatskayan, because, Kayan is canyon, and I'd always think, oh, this is the tribe of Geo. Also, if you scream at a canyon, there's an echo, so there's that. For Mesli, I think of the word mist from mest, and that means water. Also, Mesli having the same first letter with her current hero, Milani. For the science of the Canopy, I first thought of Canopy associated with the forest, and so that would always remind me of Dandro, and also Kanich is seen to be swinging, so there's also that. I know it does sound weird, but it kinda helps me remember these tribes, so maybe these might help you as well. Now, each of these tribes seem to have different mini customs of their own, and have different kinds of saurians which symbolizes their culture. I'll try to explain them in detail. Starting first with the 3 tribes we have so far, which are the Children of Echoes, or also called the Nanatskayan, located in the Takomakan Valley, the tribe where Kachina comes from. This tribe mainly focuses on the element of Geo, and are known to be the artisans and miners of Natlan. They also contain most of the region's gems and ores, which prove vital to Natlan's economy. By using phlogiston, they create weapons and accessories with gems. This tribe is closely bonded with the Tepetlisaurius, and mentioned that they keep their dwellings as near to their homes as possible. This gives them a close bond with the Tepetlisaurius even at a young age. Because their tribe symbol is a literal stone, they serve as Natlan's diggers, miners, and jewelers, and Tepetlisaurius helps them do just that. The architectural style of their homes are designed to look like boots to ensure a strong foundation. Still, the Children of Echoes aren't only seen as jewelers or miners, but also described to be great at dancing. At a young age, dancing is already taught as a hobby to the tribespeople and are well-known DJs by using turntables. They even host a dancing competition called the Drill Bit Dance-Off, where it mentions how a person once brought a literal drill during the competition, which caused future organizers to create a dancing stage that could prevent it from collapsing. In fact, the earliest forms of dance battles in Natlan was when tribesmen performed in front of these birds here called the Blue Mountain Spoonbill, where if their leader was pleased, they would allow each feather to be plucked from their bodies to create dyes with the highest quality. This tribe's current chief is named Bakal. Yeah, this guy right here, which I think is the most chill of all the chiefs we have so far. He is responsible by first asking our identities before he allows us to escort a literal child across Natlan, and also has some sick dance moves. As a fun trivia, the chief's name was inspired from a Mayan king called Pakal the Great, who ruled over a city named Palenque. So why was he given the title the Great? Well, that's because this king made the city's palaces bigger and built temples and monuments, as well as having the 5th longest reign in the Mayan civilization. Now, going back, the Children of Echoes currently have 2 playable characters, which are Kachina and Zillanen. For Kachina, she is the middle child in her family, with an older sister and a younger sister, which I suspect one of them could be playable. Now, Kachina is also the tribe's inheritor of the ancient name Uthabiti, which embodies toughness and tenacity. I believe this fully describes the tribe, as well as because of their headstrong and stubborn attitudes. As for the Zillanen from the voice lines, she is a master craftsperson who created Kachina's mini drill and could forge ancient names and weapons. Due to her skills, she was even acknowledged by Malvika, due to how she created the sunglasses Malvika wears, as well as adding modifications from time to time. Moving on to the important questions. Who founded the Children of Echoes? Well, as of now, we can only theorize, as there aren't any clear names that were mentioned yet. But in the weapon Ring of Yach, it was said that the Children of Echoes was founded during the age of the Dragon Civilization. And so, there lived 2 hero twins named Apub and Iskwe, who were both separated, with Iskwe and the Children of Echoes at that time. It was also mentioned that the 2 hero twins' parents suffered under a certain dragon lord, with their father dying due to this dragon's whims and their mother sacrificing her life to protect her children, meaning the 2 twins. Luckily, the 2 twins reunited and sought revenge by challenging the dragon lord. Along the journey, they met an unnamed hero and created a plan by tricking this dragon lord into drinking a poison, which caused it to weaken and die. I believe this unnamed hero is Yach, and to add as a trivia, in Mayan mythology, Yach is seen as their tree of life, similar to the Yggdrasil from Norse mythology. Now, if you've noticed, most names from the Children of Echoes are mostly from Mayans, which is the case for the current chief's name, Pakal, as well as the NPCs such as Chiban, Apoxpalon, Khan, Emix, Iknal, Chanil, and so many more Mayan references. Before we move on to the next tribe, who are the heroes of the Children of Echoes? In the time of the Grand Alliance and the ancient city of Okkanatlan, as I mentioned in the last video, Sakuk was a member of this tribe who joined the Red-Eyed Youth to rebel against the tyrant Okkan. Sakuk was the last member of the Red-Eyed Youth's group to die of old age, and her father once owned the artifact piece, the Faded Emerald Tail, given as a gift by a master craftsman. Jumping to the Cataclysm, the heroes here were Sunjata and Traore. Sunjata was one of the heroes who joined Notch in fighting the Abyss, and their battle resulted in the formation of the Merijivari. As for Traore, when the tribe was under attack and Sunjata was off with Tenoch, it was Traore who led the defense near to their homes. Together with the help of 2 Conrian soldiers, Traore used 4 shadow pins to seal the Abyss from ever surfacing. For the people of the Springs, it seems the tribesmen here love to play music, enjoy a relaxing day under the sun, and take baths in hot springs. Honestly, it seems like a good place to stay and have a vacation. It was great seeing the Traveler and Paimon actually take a swim in one of the hot springs here, and I loved how they finally had a new set of clothes that they were wearing. 5 nations down, and we're still wearing that same outfit, which at this point begs me the question, does the Traveler actually wash their clothes? I mean, after all that running and fighting and sleeping on the dirt most of our adventures, I wonder what could have been the reactions for the characters we met if this was in real life. I doubt Emily's perfumes couldn't even cover that smell. Still, it was nice to see a change, and after that potential change back in Inazuma, where we could have seen the Traveler wearing a kimono, I loved that Hoya finally thought of an upgrade here. So anyways, the People of the Springs was first founded during the time of the Dragon Civilization. At first, a human and their companions decided to travel all over the land in search of a mysterious island. This person was an expert cartographer and even made the whole map of Natlan. Now, this was the case of your typical adventure where this mysterious island contained certain trials and challenges. In his travels, the legend goes that he called his closest companions to join him. After he successfully founded this mysterious island, he went through the trials I mentioned, and when they were nearing the mysterious island, this person chose to save his companions and later realized that his greatest treasure was the friends he had along the way. Now, I know it sounds like a joke, but it was actually told from the legend of Milani's people. Since then, they founded the Mesli tribe, and this person went on to become the first chief for the people of the Springs. As for their current chief, she is named Amina, who is literally a kid. Well, how did this child become a chief at such a young age? Well, it was mentioned that after Amina's grandfather passed away, she inherited the title, and since then Amina tried to use the knowledge she gained from grandfather in managing the tribe. Now, going back to this mysterious island, it was nothing but a simple patch with no treasures, signifying that the companions were the real treasures all along. Moving on, this tribe surrounds the motif of Hydra with its nature for guiding, surfing, and exploration. The NPC Kahuna claims that they are similar to adventurers, but they like to call themselves instead as wayfinders. Their Saurian companions are the Koalasaurus, and most names from this tribe have Polynesian names. Their hobbies are swimming, surfing, kayaking, fishing, and bathing in hot springs. In fact, they even created artificial springs to let tourists adjust to the hot temperatures. Because of this NPC Aikawa started his own bathhouse of artificial hot springs in Inazuma, and soon became a famed place for Inazumans like Yoimiya. They are also well-known composers of music such as pop and have a record studio. They sell these records and do similar DJ skills like the children of Echoes. If you look closely at the designs of their huts, they are made from surfboards and oak with a semi-open structure, colorful roofs, and suspended floorboards. I suppose this is because it barely rains within the people of the Springs, and they have a more open design to their homes to invite the breeze from their beaches and sun rays. This also prevents too much sand from entering. However, not only do they stay within their hot springs, they also check the activities within the volcano, and use the Koalasaurus to conduct regular inspection inside the volcano for possible eruptions or monster attacks. This makes them excellent tailors and craftsmen as well, creating clothes and tools that cannot melt when exposed to high temperatures. As of now, Milani is the only playable character we have from this tribe with a jolly and aspiring personality, and inherits the ancient name Umoja, meaning unity and family, reflecting on how the people of the Springs treat not only their fellow members as family but also tourists. Similar to most of her tribesmen, Milani loves surfing and playing music. She is also a store owner, mentioned in the Archon quest named the Leisurely Puffer, selling products related to water sports. Once in the past, Milani's parents were merchants who had connections all over Tibet, and this gained them a huge amount of wealth. Milani, who was a child at this point, wanted to help in the business, but her parents decided to let her travel first before she really decides what she wants. And so Milani went all over Natlan, but couldn't wait to finally come home and smell the beaches once again. By traveling all over Natlan, she brought home a lot of souvenirs, including items she built for water sports. Since then, Milani became the tribe's role model for attire and activities, thus allowing her to open her shop. Milani is a spontaneous traveler, and soon tourists outside Natlan met her asking for directions. This resulted in her desire to become a guide, and so enrolled in the best guide of her tribe named Nu to teach her. At first, she was overwhelmed by her teacher's ways, but in due time she officially became a guide of the people of the Springs. Now, one thing for the people of the Springs is that their tribe is mostly invaded by the Abyss. We saw that during the Archon quest, and this resulted in their warriors to be more experienced compared to the other tribes. So when Milani formed a team and joined the pilgrimage for the first time, they easily broke through the first round. Moving on, who were the heroes from this tribe? Well, one we met during the Archon quest named the Giant Tupac, who also joined Tenoch during the Cataclysm. More heroes include Atahualpa, one of the hero twins who helped the Red-Eyed Youth and died in a fight, and Kotanina, a former Pyro Archon who challenged a Dragon Lord in a surfing duel and won. The people of the Springs seem to have a rich history, as well as numerous heroes who lived throughout their existence. One mention of this is also Atia, who is a friend of Movika and has a pyro vision. This seems suspicious because I think Atia has a larger role to play in the upcoming Archon quests, which might explain the lack of a pyro tribe. This might probably give answers to the mystery behind Vennessa's tribe and how it was mentioned they all left Natlan. Another mention of a hero here is the legendary fisherman Metavaru, who Malvika spoke of in the Arkan quest. The fishing rod we see in her collection was owned by this legendary fisherman. Now, if the Children of Echoes has gems and ores to trade, what do the people of the Springs have? Well, it's actually fish, and the selling of beachwear and water sports gear, as well as maybe a fee for their springs, although there's no mention of that as they tend to offer the springs to tourists for free. There may be other goods such as dishes they make that they can sell, but that's all I can find out. Lastly is the hero Eunuku, known as the Treader of the Rainbow, who met and fell in love with an Oceanid named Hinela, and challenged an order of dragons. From the weapon footprint of the rainbow, this Oceanid used Eunuku for her personal gain, and later Eunuku realized this. However, the two eventually saw their mistakes, and when Eunuku was nearing his death by being burned alive by a dragon, this Oceanid stood in front of the coming flame, and Eunuku witnessed how this Oceanid sacrificed her life for him. It was a tragic end, but the people of the Springs rewrote this by giving it a happy ending, with Eunuku and the Oceanid reuniting in the end. Another thing, how were the hot springs created? From the local legend written by the people of the Springs, a saurian named Maue and a Manitou once tried to visit a wise dragon to pardon their banishment. However, this dragon rejected them. Because the Manitou was exposed far from their natural habitat, it began to weaken. So Maue found a place of sulfurous pools and scattered the Manitou into the sulfur. This caused the sulfurous pools to change, turning it into hot springs for the modern people of the Springs to enjoy. Going to the last of the three, the Scions of the Canopy, also called the Hoytslan, located in the Coatepec Mountains, a tribe full of saurian hunters and couriers who mostly follow the element of dendro, living in the cliff houses near the mountains. Their names here are mostly Quechuan from the Andes Mountains. Their chief Huayna comes from the Quechan word meaning young. I suppose after he heard we broke his relic, the Spirit Speaker's stone, he might start to feel a bit old by thinking about it. The Scions of the Canopy have the Yumkasaurius as their saurian companions, and are great in exploration, hunting, and delivering of messages and packages, with the Courier's Longhouse as their main base of operations. They are simply the mailman or USPS of Natlan, adding with a touch of animal control. They are also experts in mountain climbing and sell all types of climbing ropes and grappling hooks for profit. Now, one thing that is curious here is how the Scions of the Canopy do not leave Natlan when delivering mail. From the NPC Tundema, he mentions they usually pass it on to colleagues from other nations to deliver the mail designated to the other regions. I suppose there is a larger reason as to why even the Scions of the Canopy decide not to step outside Natlan. Moving on, extreme sports are also implied to be popular in this tribe. The people here enjoy intense challenges and tend to be injured because of that. These sports include skateboarding on mountains, bungee jumping, ziplining, and land sailing. It's as they say, only those who pass the trial have the right to draw graffiti, which makes them responsible for these written high above the cliffs. It seems graffiti serves as their recognition in passing their trials. The Scions of the Canopy also have an organization named the Graffiti Alliance. Now, because the Scions of the Canopy are situated high above the cliffs, they seem to have a lot of plants stashed in jars that are suitable with the high altitude, as well as windmills. They also place these fences to serve as emergency hooks for rope attachments to provide support for the courier. Their buildings are also designed to have huge internal spaces with front doors big enough to allow vehicles to go inside. Adding to that, they ensure their homes have high roofs to allow Yumkasaurius to leap and play inside. After the Cataclysm, the Scions of the Canopy tried to rebuild their courier system and so used flame grenades as material to create a durable package courier, which is still widely used in the present day. The Scions of the Canopy also have a yearly ceremony called the Turnfire Night. This ceremony acts as a memory to Burkina and the Mountain King Kongamoto when they joined Tenoch to fight the Abyss during the Cataclysm. Another part of the ceremony is cleansing the abyssal corruption from Kongamoto, letting him sleep for another year. Now, in this quest, this tribe was first founded in the Dragon Civilization, and one thing here is that the Scions of the Canopy used to live somewhere else, but were forced to relocate. This was even before Burkina's time, which was set in the Cataclysm. They were forced to relocate maybe due to abyss attacks or a sudden change in the environment. The only playable character we have so far in this tribe is Kinich and his relic Ajao. His father was a courier but also liked to gamble, and this caused most of Kinich's home to be lost. His mother was a farmer who constantly fought with his father. At one time during Kinich's youth, his drunk father beat up his mother so badly that caused her to leave, saying no goodbyes to Kinich. With this, his father took up the responsibilities of her mother, as well as turning to Kinich to beat him when he returned drunk. On his 7th birthday, Kinich wanted to ask his father for news about his mother, but the response was a beating to young poor Kinich. Because of his drunken state, the father later fell off a cliff towards his death. Due to this, Kinich matured at a young age and grew as an orphan until finally enrolling in the Learning Lodge under the tutelage of Elder Lake. This teacher taught him how to become a certified Saurian hunter, until finally when that day came, Kinich was stronger and faster than most of his classmates. During a ruins exploration from the Dragon Civilization, Kinich and others tried to go inside, but only Kinich survived the way in. There he found a wristband, and from it emerged the dragon Kuhul Ajao. From there, Kinich and Ajao would deliver packages together, despite Ajao's constant arguments. In the present day, Kinich inherited the ancient name of Malipo, meaning to claim payment. Despite having a dendro vision, Kinich does have a sad backstory. Now, as for the heroes of the Scions of the Canopy, we have Burkina and Yupanqui, with Burkina joining Tenach during the Cataclysm to battle the Abyss, and Yupanqui serving as Ochkan's ordnance officer during their reign. Yupanqui was also a friend of both Xbalanque and Ochkan before he turned mad from abyssal corruption. In his youth, from the weapon Earth Shaker, Yupanqui was beaten by an archer, a half-human hero, supposedly the same archer from the weapon Chainbreaker who came from the Flower Feather clan. However, before Yupanqui finished his little speech, this half-human hero left. In the present day, a tribesman named Ponch wrote a book containing every hero's journey and achievements from the Scions of the Canopy, and named this book as Yupanqui's Turnfire. This was later stolen by the Abyss Order member Enjo, as we can see in Kenich's story quest. Now, as for their local legend, the Scions of the Canopy continue to perform a ritual to cleanse the abyssal corruption of the Mountain King Kongamato. This chubby Yumkasor here, every year they tend to use a portion of the sacred flame to reduce the abyssal effects and prevent Kongamato from turning into a mad rage monster. However, in Kenich's story quest, the Elder Trinidad wanted to permanently send Kongamato to the Night Kingdom, but with our help, we managed to restore Kongamato's well-being, as well as preventing the poisoning of the flame grenades in the World Quest, which serves as Kongamato's food. Now, from the Arkan Quest, Movika mentions how her younger sister turned out to be an architect and helped rebuild the Scions of the Canopy after the Cataclysm. Now, why only the Scions of the Canopy and not the other tribes? This might hint that Movika was from the Scions of the Canopy then before she turned into the Pyro Arkan. Another hint is the two Yumkasarius they have as part of their family in the picture shown. Most members of the Scions of the Canopy are also chosen as referees for the pilgrimage, as they ride these hot air balloons. This is because they are used to the high altitudes given their homes are placed high above the cliffs. For the remaining 3 tribes, these are Masters of the Night Wind or Mictlan, the Flower Feather clan, and Collective of Plenty. The last 2 weren't given any native titles yet, but it will certainly take the names of the 13 heavens of Aztec mythology. In fact, Nanatzkayan, Mesli, and Huitzlan were names taken from 13 levels of heaven. So going back, if there are 7 elements in Tevat, why are there only 6 tribes in Natlan? From the Arkan Quest, it seems that Natlan's culture and societal norms are deeply intertwined with the Pyro element, shaping their customs, architecture, and daily life, suggesting that the element is within themselves already given, that any worthy person could become the next Pyro Arkan. Going on to the 4th tribe, the Masters of the Night Wind are dominated by cold, gray-blue colors with dream-catcher feathers. Also, because of their climate, they wear warm clothes, unlike other tribes. In fact, they are excellent seers and shamans, as well as masters in graffiti arts. They mainly communicate with the Wayab and the Night Kingdom, and their Saurian companions are the Ictimissarius. From the NPC Nance, she mentions that most masters of the Nightwind are doctors, maybe because most of them are seers or shamans. In the capital of Natlan, we first meet an old man, Aussie, who suffers from memory problems. From him we learn that Sitlali from his tribe is the granddaughter of one of the great prophetesses. Also near the Hall of the Six Tribes, two residents of Natlan, talking to each other, mention that the Masters of the Nightwind issue prophecies. This explains how the Masters of the Nightwind are excellent storytellers, and Movika keeps the ritual vessel from this tribe as a relic, and says that with the help of such a vessel, the tribe strengthens the connection with the Wayab. Among the contestants of the tournament, Lila the North Star of Ishkimila wears the colors of the Masters of the Nightwind, and a headdress in the form of bat ears, the totem of their tribe, which matches the look of the Movika's outfit. Also, in the meeting hall of the Six Tribes, in addition to the flags on the backs of the chairs, you can see the symbol of the Masters of the Nightwind having bat ears. According to the NPC, Ankieta, he mentions how he was invited to perform in the tribe's events, but not many members show up, especially since the trip taken there is long and far, implying that the Masters of the Nightwind are far from the other current tribes we have so far. The Masters of Nightwind are also described by the NPC Mahina Nui to have a variety of drinks, which might imply that mixology is one of their hobbies. We only know of Sitlali and Auroran, who are the upcoming playable characters from this tribe. For Sitlali, she is the current face of the tribe and even the High Priestess. Mulani calls her Granny, which implies that to write their stories, they are woven fabric as a material instead of paper. But for Sitlali, she uses Inuzuman papers, with Kinich delivering these papers to her. Sitlali also can somewhat predict which things could bring good fortune. For Mulani, when she consulted with Sitlali about her business, Sitlali said that the colors of pink and blue would be the trendsetter. As a result, Mulani gained a lot of wealth due to her selling pink and blue floaters. As for Auroran, it is speculated that he was the one who helped Capitano escape during the clash with Movika. Still, we will know soon enough. It is also noted from the Arkan quest that the ancient nameholders from both this tribe and the Flower Feather clan are not yet ready for the upcoming battle for Natlan. This could either be Sitlali or Auroran. As for the heroes from this tribe, we currently know of Sanhaj Kumpore, a famed storyteller who joined Tanach during the Cataclysm. To add to that, the NPCs such as Chikya works as a teacher of phlogiston engravings, and Tepexpan, a warrior who competed in the pilgrimage. You might know him more as one of the two who bullied Kachina, a little who picks a fight against a literal child. Must have been a blow to their self-esteem. Now, how was this tribe founded? Well, from the weapon flute of Espitzal, this tribe also existed during the Dragon Civilization, and one member from this tribe was chosen as a sacrifice. The dragons called this as the Holy Sovereign in exchange for the protection of the dragons. From this time, a young girl with an ankle injury was chosen as the Holy Sovereign and was forced to go to the ceremony. Here, a hero named Dinga volunteered to join her, and from there, they went to the Dragon Civilization. Before this young girl would die, she gave Dinja a final command. This was to break the pact between their tribe and the dragons and establish new rules for their own tribe. A tribe named Mictlan, where its people would be its own protectors and disregard the dragons. In Aztec mythology, Mictlan is said to be like the underworlds of their culture. Moving on to the fifth tribe, the Flower Feather clan. This tribe have the Kukasaurs as their Saurian companions, and because of this, they are excellent Kukasaur riders. They have this type of exam where members of the tribe learn and fly these Kukasaurs. While the other tribes have miners, surfers, and deliverymen, this tribe has pilots. From the NPC Tirda, she mentions that the rider exams are difficult, and those who fail these exams are regarded as wingless, with Tirda as an example. The Flower Feather clan also sells masks, as seen from the NPC Ezana. The clothes they wear seem to be mostly red and might mistake them for being a pyro tribe. But from what we saw in the Ignition teaser, the Flower Feather clan surrounds their motif on the element of Anemo, with them also being excellent archers and tend to be alone when traveling. They are also often chosen to be referees for the pilgrimage. Same with the Scions of the Canopy because of how they've adjusted with heights. We currently know of 2 upcoming playable characters from this tribe who are Cheska and Aoife. For Cheska, she was abandoned as a child by her parents due to a type of disease and was nearly corrupted by the Abyss. Luckily, a group of Kukusaurs adopted her. Because of the Kukusaur's nature in getting into fights, this developed a sense of conflict within her. Then, in later years, she was adopted by a human family with Chuyu as her younger sister. Not used to human society, Cheska liked getting into fights, even getting into one with Milani. Still, Chuyu tried to help her fiery attitude and controlled it. Because of this, Cheska matured at a young age and developed a dislike at the sight of other people fighting each other. This was how she gained the title of Peacekeeper, because of how often she would stop fights before they even began. Cheska and her younger sister Chuyu would often argue regarding her past. This was because it was too risky that her fiery attitude might come back if she ever went to dangerous places such as the Night Kingdom. From the Argon Quest, we also saw how Cheska is a bow user as a testament to her tribe. As for Aoife, this character is described to be a veterinarian for the Scions, and judging from Milani and Kachina's voice lines, Aoife has a jolly personality, even joining Milani in her water sports events. So how was this tribe founded? In the weapon Chainbreaker, a hero named Lianka took up a bow and set out to explore Natlan. In her journey, orphans began to join her together with exiled warriors for her protection. Soon she saw a huge Kukusaurus and decided to challenge it. By the end, this Kukusaurus was shot 3 times, but was healed 3 times, resulting in them becoming friends. This Kukusaurus must have seen Lianka worthy and thus joined her in forming the Flower Feather Clan. It might be a local legend, but this hints at how the people from this tribe now form a close bond with the flying Kukusaurus. The hero we only know from this tribe is Menelik and historian companion Ngobu. Menelik joined Tenoch back during the Cataclysm but died in the fight. When reading Ngobu's description, the Saurian joined Menelik and battled against the Abyss, but was implied to have been corrupted similar to Kongamato's case, thus why he is currently called as the Kukusaur Tyrant. As for the final tribe, the Collective of Plenty. This tribe wears dark purple with gold stripes. They surround the tribe on the element of Electro, and from the NPC Synthly, this tribe is near a volcano. We don't know which, but we could guess that this volcano is the Great Volcano of Tolan. Because the Collective of Plenty is near a volcano, this land is great for agriculture. Synthly even boasts that they could grow huge grain fruits because of this. The Collective of Plenty uses the Tatankasaurus to help in their harvests. Now, this tribe also enjoys bodybuilding competitions and puts a great deal of importance in their qualities of strength, even hunting halberd crest birds to use their crests and bones to create heavy weapons and shields. For their contests of strength, they create a huge heavy belt we see in Movika's Room of Relics. This was the prize of the winner if they ever win the bodybuilding competition. Tonina, the NPC who defends Kachina in the Archon Quest, belongs to this tribe, and also hopes to join the pilgrimage when she is strong enough. The Collective of Plenty also loves training frequently, with most of them working as sports coaches. One playable character we have from this tribe is Yansan, who once trained Kachina. Milani wanted to enroll in Yansan's classes as well, but after she saw how Kachina was exhausted from her training, Milani chose to back out. As for how this tribe was founded, from the Ring of Yach weapon, Apub, one of the hero twins mentioned, described how the Collective of Plenty was already around during the dragon civilization, with Apub and his sister shooting down a dragon from the sky using a blow dart and joining an unnamed hero. This tribe's hero is Waskar, who joined the Red-Eyed Youth during the time of Natlan. They were described to be very close and shared witty remarks with one another. Now, it seems like there is a pattern here, with 2 hero twins mentioned as both from the Collective of Plenty. As a matter of fact, hero twins are a well-known theme for Native American cultures. So, if the Children of Echoes follow the Mayan culture, People of the Springs with Polynesian culture, and the Scions of the Canopy with Quatron culture, the Collective of Plenty might tie in more closely to Native American culture. Now, this ends the lore of the tribes we have in Natlan. There were some questions regarding the tribe of Vennessa, as I read that they once migrated outside Natlan. Now, the theory is that because this tribe of Vennessa went outside Natlan, they were afflicted with some type of curse with Ursa the Drake capturing them and enslaving them together with the aristocrats of Mondstadt. Despite Natlan keeping a lot of their legends and books, it's a mystery as to why there aren't any records of what happened with Vennessa's tribe. There's also the case of how current tribesmen refuse to go outside Natlan. It's like an unwritten rule for them whatsoever, even refusing to give an explanation as to why. For a long time, we've seen numerous NPCs from various regions visit their neighbors. I mean, all of them, except for Natlan. For this case, it is certainly an interesting one. Now, in the manga, Venti calls Vennessa's tribe as flame-touched Natlantians, having bright red hair and quick-tempered attitudes. It isn't clear as to where they are now, as from the pool of upcoming characters shown in the Ignition teaser, we only have Malvika having bright red hair. It isn't sure how this tribe suddenly arrived in Mondstadt, with no trace of them within Sumeru or even Liyue. The only thing we know is that Venti regards them as the children of Murata, and from what I read, Murata here is a big mistranslation, and instead of the word Murata, implying to be a single person, it is instead referring to Natlan as a region. The word Murata is a phonetic rendering in Chinese, with Munata being the correct translation. Mu actually refers to the lost continent of Atlantis, and from the Narcissan Kreutz Order quest, it refers to Natlan as Natlantian, again a reference to Atlantis. This means that when Venti called Vennessa's tribe as the children of Murata, it actually refers to them as the children of Natlan, implying that they are from that region. To add more into Vennessa's tribe, it is possible that Malvika is a descendant of Vennessa's tribe, given their same physical attributes. Still, I do hope that when Malvika becomes playable, we will have answers to this mystery regarding Vennessa's lost tribe, and if Malvika really did have connections to them. Ever since I started Genshin and read the manga, I've always been curious about Natlan as a region, and now that it's finally here, we have no clue on what happened to them. There is also the case with the Flower Feather clan and an answer as to why the color red is more dominant in their clothing. As for the next one, I think I've covered up everything at this point, but if I missed anything more, share them below. Anyway, that's all I have for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. So, as usual, my name is KlemenTime. Until the next one, be safe and stay tuned.